Hey, welcome back, besties. I just want to start this episode by saying something really clearly because I think that nuance matters here. This is not going to be a weight loss episode. It's also not going to be an anti-weight loss episode. It is also not a weight loss fixes everything episode. It's going to be a really truthful one. It's going to be based on my own lived experience because I have been at a body of many different shapes, many different sizes. I have weight cycled. I have yo-yo diet. I have lost a significant amount of weight and I've reached what I thought was my dream body. So what I want to chat with you about today is what actually happened in that process. And it's not just going to be the shiny, pretty Instagram story, the Fitspo version, the weight loss transformation journey. And if you're listening to this and you're thinking that once I lose the weight, everything else is going to fall into place, I just want you to stay with me because this episode is about what actually did change for me, what didn't change for me, and ultimately what mattered most. So before I go any further, I just really wanted to be clear about something. And that is that I'm not anti-weight loss. Your body, your choice. If that is your health and well-being goal, power to you. If losing weight feels aligned for you and it genuinely supports your health, your mobility, your energy, your ability to live the life that you want to live, then that's a valid decision. Okay. I've been in a body where things didn't feel quite so good to live. I couldn't quite live the life that I wanted to. My mobility was very limited. I mean, getting up off the couch to make a cup of tea or to go to the toilet was a really, really big effort for me at the time. It was like a constant inertia, something that I was constantly pushing up against. So that was my line, was I just wanted the ability to live more, to show up more, and with more ease and grace. That made sense for me at the time. But I also want to underline that you can do things like improve your energy and mobility without having to change your weight and shape. There's other ways you can achieve that. But I just wanted to give you a little context for this video. I just don't want you to be pursuing weight loss in a harmful way. I don't want you to be talking negatively about yourself along the way. And I don't want you to chase weight loss through restriction, or cutting foods out of your world, or punishing your body with overexercise, okay? Because if you have a history of things like binge eating or disordered eating, then these approaches don't just fail you, they actively perpetuate that cycle and increase your risk of staying stuck there. So that's what I want to underline before I go into this episode. And I also want to say, again, you can work on your strength, your mobility, your flexibility, stamina, energy without focusing on weight loss at all. This isn't about a number. It's about asking what kind of body feels good for me to live in? What kind of life do I want to lead? What feels sustainable? What feels kind? And those answers shouldn't come from diet culture. And they shouldn't come from fear. They should come from you. So when I lost a significant amount of weight, there definitely were changes. And I can't and I won't ever deny that. Society did treat me differently. People were kinder. I was complimented more. Doors literally opened more easily. And internally, I did get a confidence boost because of all of those things. I started applying for jobs. I put myself forward more. I applied to go back to uni and do my master's. That was something I hadn't allowed myself to do before. And looking back, losing the weight kind of acted like a permission slip for me. Permission slip to be more visible, to take up space, to chase bigger dreams. And I think that part is really important to name because pretending that doesn't and didn't happen isn't really truly honest. But on reflection, I thought that all of those things happening were because I was smaller, I was finally skinny, I was finally in that dream body. But even at my lowest weight, I didn't suddenly love my body. I actually just found new flaws. I found things like stretch marks, loose skin, the way my hips looked in my jeans, how my body sat, how my body moved. So even after that big weight loss, even after reaching the thing that I had dreamt about for years and years and years, the goalposts just quite simply moved. And that was really painful. And I realized something in that process is that my body was never the problem. Not before, not now. And weight loss was not the solution that I always thought that it was. I mean, the same thing happened with relationships. I thought that losing weight would automatically lead me to a more deeply fulfilling, respectful partnership. And instead, I just found myself in a new relationship where I still wasn't adored. I wasn't treated the way I deserved. And that's because weight loss doesn't heal your self-worth. It does not heal your boundaries, and it doesn't heal your attachment patterns. I think one of the other really hard parts for me with that discovery around weight and shape and changing those things, there was a fear of weight regain. I had bariatric surgery, and that meant that my rules intensified. I suddenly had protein targets, hydration rules, supplement schedules, constant monitoring. And if you're someone like me who has a tendency to think in black and white, then this is really dangerous territory. And perfectionism is actually one of the most common traits in binge eating disorder. And so is being high achieving and badass and driven. And so all of a sudden, I had this pressure to maintain my new body and my new identity. And that became really overwhelming. And eventually, binge eating returned. That wasn't because I fucked it up. I wasn't weak. I didn't fail. But food had always been my way to self-soothe. And I was stressed. My nervous system was very dysregulated. Weight loss did not keep me calm and grounded and centered. Actually, it just really heightened that perfectionism and that fear of weight gain. And this is where I want to get really specific as well, because this is the part I now work on directly with a lot of my clients. My body image struggles. They weren't just thoughts, okay? They were behaviors. They were things that I was doing that were reinforcing my body dissatisfaction. So these included things like appearance-focused thinking. So my worth was really tied to how I looked, and I was constantly critical of myself. My first waking thought was on that weight and shape, the number on the scale. Would it be lighter that morning? The other behavior was things like body checking. So I was looking in the mirror every time I went past. I was weighing myself every day. I was comparing to before and after photos, comparing myself to women in weight loss forums that I was a part of too. The other big behavior was body avoidance. So avoiding wearing certain clothes, avoiding situations where my body felt on display. Again, more comparison, being in post-op weight loss communities where everybody's results were compared. So I would just try not to look at them, but then I would be obsessed with them. It was endless pressure, you guys. And I eventually had to leave some of those spaces because they were harming my recovery. Okay, and so the final big behavior that was fueling that body dissatisfaction was appearance altering behaviors. This one's really rarely talked about. So I spent quite a lot of money trying to maintain this new body. I went and got this whole sleeve of tattoos. I got lots of cosmetic treatments. I was always doing my hair, spending a lot of money on makeup. And not because I love them necessarily, but because I believed that looking a certain way would fast track this life that I wanted. Really, really cost me financially. And it definitely cost me in terms of my mental health because it felt impossible to maintain. So I've explained a little bit about some of the things that kept me stuck when it came to my relationship with my body and weight loss and appearance. So everything changed to me when I started asking myself some questions. Instead of asking, how do I maintain this body? I had to start asking, why do I feel unsafe in my body in the first place? So I put the brakes on. I started to challenge my food rules and I started to dismantle my diet voice. And that's the one that said if I loosened up on the rules and restrictions, it was a slippery slope to the end. But that voice wasn't the truth. That was my eating disorder speaking. That was diet culture speaking. And when I worked on my relationship with food properly, something shifted. The binges stopped, and not because I was following rules. It was because I didn't need food to feel safe anymore. That is also when my body image started to soften, and when my overall mental health started to improve. I started to feel a bit more comfortable in my body, not perfect, but more neutral. And body neutrality is the best place to start. That's what I always say with my clients. Start off with body neutrality. You don't have to love your body right now. Okay, so to wrap up today's episode, I want to give you a few reflections. I'm going to put these in the show notes, and if you want to do some journaling on that, that would be amazing. I also invite you to send me a DM over on Instagram and let me know what you came up with in response. So the first one is, what do you believe that weight loss will give you permission to do? What are you hoping that your dream body will solve for you? What does body fixation cost you? Think about emotional, mental, financial, spiritual, social. What's it costing you? What rules feel necessary and what are they protecting you from feeling? If loosening food rules scares the crap out of you, just remember that's just information. It's not failure. Remember, it scared the crap out of me too, and I've managed to heal and get to where I am now. Go do those reflections, send me a DM to let me know how it goes. And I'm also going to give you 2 places to get started and some tools you can start using also. Because remember, you don't need to fix yourself because healing happens through small, repeatable shifts and not big overhauls. An action I want you to take after you've done those journaling prompts is first, I want you to track your behaviors, not your weight. So remember that I was talking about things like body checking and body avoidance before. This is important for you to start noticing. Body dissatisfaction is not about a size, as I found out, right? It's a response to what you're doing and how you're relating to your body. So instead of tracking your weight or calories or macros, I want you to start noticing what behaviors that you're participating in and whether maybe that's contributing to your dissatisfaction. So things you can check in on are things like how often you check mirrors, how often you weigh yourself, are you scrolling between like before and after photos of yourself, or maybe looking at those kind of images in a Facebook group? Are you comparing your body to others? Are you avoiding certain clothes? Are you avoiding mirrors? Or is it certain situations like going to the beach or the gym? These behaviors are keeping your nervous system in a constant state of threat. We don't want to do that. That is just adding fuel to the fire. Important thing to highlight as well is that you can be in a smaller body and you can still feel completely unsafe in it. That's why I've shared my story to demonstrate that to you guys. Healing starts when you start to gently interrupt some of these behaviors. You know, you don't need to stop them overnight, but if you become aware of them now, you're going to start loosening their grip. Okay, even one less mirror check a day is some really, really big progress. All right, so the second thing I want you to give a go is prioritize consistent nourishment. This second place to start with nourishment, and I want to be really clear with that by saying, I'm not talking about being perfect with your eating. I'm not talking about clean eating. I'm not talking about eating in a way that's going to impress anybody. Okay, we're not doing this for the outside world. We're doing this to heal your inner world. Okay. When your body doesn't know when it's getting fed next because your meals are either restricted or just chaotic, irregular, all over the place, it's going to stay in survival mode. And in survival mode, your brain will do things like fixate on food, crave quick energy from things like carbs and sugars, and it's going to push you towards binge eating. So, consistent nourishment is one of the fastest ways that you can tell your nervous system that it is safe. You don't need to panic. Eating regularly, I know it can feel a bit mechanical and structured. It's not about control, it's just about creating some predictability for yourself. I don't care what you eat. Meals and snacks don't need to be ideal, they just need to be available. And when your body trusts that food is coming, remember that urgency will ease, the urge to binge will ease, and eventually it will stop. That's where healing's going to begin, okay? Not in restriction, but in reliability. So if you take nothing else from this episode, let it be this. You don't need to be in a smaller body to feel better in it, but you do need to work on making your body feel safer, and that is something that you can absolutely start working on today. Go back and do those reflective journal prompts and try those 2 tasks that I've just set you. Regular nourishment and noticing what behaviors that you're participating that might be fueling the dissatisfaction with your body. Now, this kind of work is what I do inside my program, The Breakup. The Breakup is everything that I have learned from my own lived experience, from my clinical training, from my research, And what I've done is I've wrapped that up into my food freedom method. You don't have to figure this out on your own, and you definitely don't have to take a decade to get there like I did. So you can be a part of the breakup either by enrolling in self-led, which is join anytime, or you can join group coaching. My next group coaching round actually starts February 24th, and I am enrolling right now. It's a 4.5-month container. It's high touch. You're going through my food freedom method alongside me and a beautiful community of women. 10 live 90-minute group coaching calls. You get step-by-step guidance, again from me, and a personalized support through the community. It is an amazing place. It's something I am building from scratch for you guys because, like I said, I don't want you to take a decade to recover like I did. I've already got the key to the castle. I already know how to do it. So I'm going to give that to you, going to give you my roadmap, and you're going to get there way faster. So come and find me on Instagram at BingeFreeBestie. Send me a DM. Tell me about your reflections. Say hi. I love hearing about people's stories, and I always personally reply. I want to get to know you. I want to see if we are a good fit for one another. So please do reach out. If you don't use socials, just use my contact form on my website, and we can have a really honest conversation and see if we vibe, see if the breakup is the right space for you. Places are really limited, so make sure that you do reach out sooner rather than later. Final thing I want to say today is that weight loss may change your body, sure, but healing your relationship with yourself is what will change your life. If you're ready to do that, then I am here when you're ready. Ciao for now, and I will see you next week.